Hello everyone and welcome back. Now, I know you just read the title of this video, and much like my previous videos, it seems like I'm just throwing ideas out there. However, I asked you to hear me out before you rate and comment on my take. Now, for a bit of context, Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character in all of Star Wars. The prequels were released when I was a kid, and every Halloween I wanted to be Anakin. And whenever I watched the Clone Wars, I gravitated to Anakin more than anyone. Now, when I heard that Anakin and all the other prequel characters were coming to Battlefront 2, I lost my mind. And then when I heard that Anakin was going to be the most powerful to represent his status as the Chosen One, I was all for it. However, things need to be balanced. Anakin has already received a couple of nerfs, and as well as this one to his Passionate Strike and Pull Dominance coming next week, I don't think those are really going to change anything regarding Anakin's dominance across the battlefront. So sit back, get ready to spam that keyboard, and here's why I think Heroic Might needs to be replaced in Anakin Skywalker's abilities. So to begin, this is a far bigger issue in Galactic Assault and Capital Supremacy than in the other hero modes. In the hero modes, it's pretty easy to block and counter it. However, Galactic Assault and Capital Supremacy are, in my opinion, the most popular and most played game modes, where also, again, in my opinion, have the highest player base. This being said, a good Anakin player can completely dominate and change the tide of any game. This is due to his abilities. He has high damage output with his basic attacks, he has a range ability, which is being nerfed, but still, and he can defeat enemies from all angles with Heroic Might and Retribution. Now, why is this an issue, you ask? Simple. Games aren't fun to play if there isn't an equal chance at winning. Now, don't get me wrong, I've won plenty of times in Galactic Assault and Capital Supremacy as the CIS or the Darkside team, but that is usually due to a bad Anakin player and having an overwhelmingly better team. Also, I completely understand Anakin being the Chosen One and being more powerful than anyone else. Some heroes and villains are going to be better than others, that's just how development goes. However, the ability combos Anakin can put villains in, which hopefully you'll see in the video, is just ridiculous. I should not be able to defeat a villain by chaining together all of my abilities and just ragdolling them across the battlefront. It's frustrating to go through, and frankly, it isn't that hard to do as Anakin. Also, as much as I think Heroic Might is a really cool ability, it is redundant and game-breaking no matter how much they nerf it. When I first was reading the community transmission on Anakin, my first thoughts were, damn, these are some awesome abilities, but Heroic Might and Retribution sound kind of the same, but I'm sure it'll be fine when we play. Now, I like Retribution. It to me does what it is supposed to do. Anakin is allowed to assert himself as the Chosen One and bring balance to the battlefront. He pretty much kills anyone who is affected by and you all feel incredible while using it. This is balanced by it being a charged up ability. Some games you use it once, and others you can use it multiple times. On the flip side, Heroic Might has a really short cooldown, and honestly it does the same thing. It's one thing to run into a crowd and use Retribution since you pick them all up in the air and throw them back, but running into a crowd and just crouching, absorbing all the damage, and throwing it back is essentially impossible to counter, and frankly is game breaking when this game is already built on hectic choke points. The villains don't have a counter to it since Anakin can't be pulled out of the animation, and while you can roll and block... Do I need to explain? You've been there. Also, to bring canon into this, I've never seen Anakin use Force powers a lot. Yes, he has the highest midichlorian count and was considered a prodigy for his age, but he was more known for his abilities as a duelist. While doing research for this video, I stumbled across this from Wikipedia. Anakin was more of a fighter than a Force wielder. Now for my proposed solution. Now what I think is the appropriate ability to give Anakin is Vader's Focus Rage. For the obvious, it shows the parallels between Anakin and Darth Vader. DICE has said many times that they take canon into account when designing heroes, and I think this fits seamlessly. The scene that really shows this is in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin is fighting Count Dooku.
Sense great fear in you, Skywalker. You have hate, you have anger, but you don't use them.
Now obviously the Passionate Strike was taken from here, but you can see the resemblance with Vader's ability. Dooku stated himself, "You have anger," and Anakin clearly channels his rage to defeat Dooku. So, how this works, like Vader, Anakin will receive a health boost, except he will receive 100 health instead of 200. He gets plus 15 onto all of his attacks, and his stamina is decreased by 50% for the duration. This is, in my opinion, will balance the game for both sides and all game modes, while still keeping Anakin as the most powerful hero. Anakin has and would still have the highest damage output in the game and one of the highest health amounts, and would still be able to be one of the best lightsaber duelists in the game. He can still use the Force with his pull, and Retribution is still his standout ability that makes him the chosen one. When fighting, Anakin was never known for using the Force frequently to defeat his enemies, and Battlefront should reflect this as well as the game should be balanced. This shouldn't affect Anakin in hero modes and in Galactic Assault and Capital Supremacy. Anakin can still clearly dominate the other team, but not to the degree that he does now. Other than making him worth 8,000 battle points on all maps, I don't think there is an alternative than this, if we want the game to be balanced. That's the whole general idea here, is for the game to be balanced. So that's my take. What do you guys think of it? I'm curious and want to hear your guys' thoughts. I gave you my opinion. All I ask is that you be respectful to me and the people who comment down below. With all that being said, I'll catch you all on the flip in the next video.